Good morning. It's October 4th. I'm meteorologist Nicole Kirkick.
And I'm Rachel Schutzen. Happy Tuesday to you. And as we take a look at some of these current conditions across the country, hard to believe we're starting off October 6th. It looks like the ridge of high pressure should protect us in the GTA.
But that's better eating weather, cozy, watch TV weather.
Exactly. Enjoy some pumpkin pie.
So much, Chris, and we will do exactly that. I'm Emily Vukovic. It's Tuesday. It is the 4th of October, and we're talking about beautiful weather for the east. We're talking about wintry weather right across the prairies, and of course, we will give you an update on Hurricane Matthew. First, we're going to take you to a live webcam of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and that is why we do have this special weather statement issued. It stretches from northern Saskatchewan right down to the south, talking about wind, rain, and snow. Literally, we're getting all seasons in the next 2 days. Some areas could see wind gusts up to about 60 kilometers an hour. It's not going to be pretty when you're out and about and trying to commute in this throughout parts of Saskatchewan. Saskatoon, you could receive up to 15 centimeters locally of snow. Cold Arctic air. It's going to be bringing very cold wind and very cold rain. Thanks, Chris. Coming up, you don't want to miss science behind the eye wall. Your Weather Watch continues. I'm Emily Vukovic. Thanks so much for joining us. Taking a look at a couple of systems right across the country. We've got that low through the west bringing in some rain, and we've got the low across the prairies bringing in some snow. We'll talk more about that in just a moment, but first it's time for Share Your Weather. Doesn't it look cold? Looks cold. We are going to be seeing more snow today, but it's going to be throughout southern, well, I don't want to say southern Saskatchewan, but it will eventually get there. We are going to be seeing it through northern Saskatchewan, northern Manitoba for the next couple of days. Temperatures are cold. A lot of Arctic air is going to be filtering south. Calgary only hitting 10 degrees today. In through Winnipeg, we're looking at 18 and rain, because that's another thing this system has in common. We're seeing wind, rain, and snow, and that is why we have the special weather statement in place through parts of Saskatchewan. We have the snowfall warning, 10 to 30 centimeters possible in some areas, and then we've got a rainfall warning to top it off, an additional, well, I'd say about 100 millimeters in total, so an additional 30 to 60 in some of these communities. So it is going to be a very wet, windy, and cool couple of days. All right, I'm going to turn things to Chris Murphy for today's top videos. Thank you so much, Chris. The level of concern is, of course, high through Haiti, through parts of Cuba. As this system continues to track its way north, we've got the high level of concern through Bahamas, and the current model wants to take it potentially making landfall through the Carolinas. We're going to be following the system as it moves up the eastern seaboard and potentially in through Atlantic Canada. We're going to have all those details plus video coming up in Force of Nature and the Long Ranger. Everybody is dressed for fall, jackets, pants. Yeah, everybody's prepared for cooler air coming in, and that's exactly what we have. A lot of Arctic air, in fact. You could potentially see some snow through Calgary. Ooh, I know. Thanks for joining us. I'm Emily Vukovic, and here's a look at this afternoon. I mean, we're not looking at a bad day through much of BC and Alberta. Yes, we've got rain on the way for Vancouver and Victoria. We're going to have a series of Pacific lows literally just being brought on shore like a conveyor belt with the jet stream. So we've got multiple rounds of rain moving in. Some of it is going to be heavy at times, and we've got that system across the prairie provinces that, yes, is going to be bringing us not only rain, but it's going to be bringing us snow and a lot of wind as well. So driving throughout parts of Saskatchewan is going to be a mess tonight and into tomorrow. We're looking at some areas could potentially receive up to 20 centimeters of snow. I know. All right, to the east now, we're going to check in with Kevin Yard, who is outside the Rogers Center. Of course, it is a big Jays game tonight. Oh, that dog's hilarious. Thanks, Kevin. Okay, well, tomorrow it is going to feel like summer. We're looking at humidex values feeling like 30 through Windsor. It's going to feel like 26 in Toronto, and it's going to feel like 23 through Quebec City. We do have a system coming through, but we're not going to see a lot of moisture with this. It's going to go to the north, so some areas through Cottage Country may see a passing shower, but for the most part, nothing. Summer-like conditions. More on that in your Long Ranger. All right, taking a look at the west, we've got snow and we've got rain. Rain coming on shore, literally one low after another, and then we've got that snow moving in through parts of Saskatchewan. That low is going to track its way east. Winnipeg, it doesn't look like you'll see any snow for the weekend, but your temperatures are certainly cooling down. You felt closer to 30 yesterday. Yeah, by the end of the week, it's certainly going to feel like fall, almost winter-like. To the east, it feels like summer. Could see a passing shower with that front that I was just mentioning through the GTA on Thursday, but Friday we clear out, and the weekend setting up for the eastern portion of the country looks amazing for Thanksgiving. Could see a passing shower on Saturday, but for the most part, looks great. Coming up, you don't want to miss a new edition of Around the World in 3 minutes. Hi there, I'm Emily Vukovic. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Weather Network. These are the developing stories we're following for you. We've got summer-like conditions in the east. We have got winter-like conditions in the west, and we're talking about Hurricane Matthew, of course, with rain. But we've got some snow on the way, we've got cold temperatures on the way, and very gusty conditions. Special weather statement issued by Environment Canada talking about the potential for heavy snow in some areas. We've got a snowfall warning through parts of northern Saskatchewan and the rainfall warning as well through parts of Manitoba. Now, some areas have already picked up 100 millimeters of rain, and there's just more to come. Throw in a little bit of wind with that, and it's going to be a very messy commute for the next couple of days. We're seeing winds coming in from the north at 40 kilometers an hour, gusting up to about 60 kilometers an hour. So it feels raw. It feels cold. The rainfall forecast through Thursday, like I was mentioning, some areas have already picked up 100 millimeters. We could see an additional 50. And then, of course, we add some snow on top of that, and it's just going to be messy. Do you want to build a snowman in October on the 4th? You'll get your chance. In some areas, you're seeing 15 centimeters of snow. Wow. Okay, let's shift gears a little bit. Must-see video of Haiti. Would you ever cancel a trip because of a hurricane? That's what we're asking today. Yes, no, it depends. A lot of people are saying yes. And we actually got a tweet saying, yeah, I did this week. I was supposed to be traveling to Jamaica, and that trip has been canceled. We'd love to hear your answer. Just head to Twitter. This is the satellite of Hurricane Matthew. It made landfall Haiti earlier today around 7 a.m. Eastern time with catastrophic winds and rain. Some areas are receiving up to 400 millimeters of rain. It is going to be very intense. If you've got pictures and videos of anything, snow, rain, hurricane force winds, we'd love to see them. Just send me a tweet at EmilyTWN. You can check us out at Weather Network as well, or on our Facebook page. Don't forget, you can always check us out. Just type in the Weather Network and you will see us there. Okay, coming up, we'll talk about your local forecast details. Force of nature, we've got really impactful video from Matthew, and it's snowing somewhere. I just told you where, but Chris Murphy's going to have more details coming up in 6 minutes. Thanks so much, Chris. Shifting gears here just slightly, what you're seeing here is Plum Point Lighthouse in Jamaica. Water overflowing the barriers, and we can thank Hurricane Matthew for this. I'm Emily Vukovic. Thanks for joining us. Taking a look at the forecast track for Matthew. Still a Category 4 storm has made landfall through the southern peninsula of Haiti. It is going to continue to track its way north. This could certainly be making impact through the United States and then eventually towards Atlantic Canada. This is something that we're obviously keeping our eye very closely on. The level of concern with Hurricane Matthew is high in all of these areas: Jamaica, through Haiti, through parts of Cuba, in through parts of Florida, Miami, certainly on high alert with this. As the system tracks up, we could be seeing landfall as a major hurricane through the Carolinas. We could also be seeing landfall through Atlantic Canada. But all of these models are currently being updated throughout the day, so by later on this afternoon, we'll have more updates. Okay, take a look at this must-see video.
Going somewhere.
Beefy amounts. I think I'm going to use that term for the rest of the day. Thanks, Chris. Okay, a beautiful day today throughout Atlantic Canada. We've got sunshine, temperatures seasonal, or even slightly above in some cases. Same story for you in Quebec, warmed up to 17 degrees for today. Yesterday, Quebec City, you only peaked around 14. Throughout the lower Great Lakes, it looks like summer in comparison to the Prairie provinces. 20 for Toronto, 23 for Windsor. By the end of the week, it could feel closer to 30. Strong winds, rain, and snow on the way. I know Chris just showed you this, but we have to talk about it because it's coming. So be prepared for your rain transitioning to snow by later on tonight and into tomorrow. Coming up, we'll talk more about Hurricane Matthew. I'm Emily Vukovic. Your Weather Watch continues, and we literally have a tale of two cities across our beautiful country. We've got winter-like conditions to the west and summer-like conditions to the east. So for this afternoon, we're only looking at 5 through Saskatoon, and you've got snow on the way for tonight. Throughout eastern Canada, we're dealing with humidex values, and that trend is going to continue as we get into the long weekend. And for more on that, let's get into the Long Ranger. temperature trends. It's cold. Look at that. We're looking at 1. That's your daytime high in Saskatoon. 1. Regina, you're not much warmer. You're also at 1. Edmonton 3 degrees. Calgary at 5. I'm not saying this with any kind of sarcasm or jokes. I mean, this is what's happening with all of that Arctic air that's filtering south. We are going to be seeing some snow, significant snow tonight and into tomorrow. And then as we get closer to the weekend, you start to warm up through the coast of BC, which I think a lot of people are going to be happy about because it is going to be wet. You've got a series of lows coming in on shore. It's not going to be very pretty. And to the east, we're talking summertime heat. Take a look now at this. Coming up, we'll take a look at your local forecast details of force of nature. Again, we've got some really good video of what's happening with Hurricane Matthew. And in 7 minutes, we will break down that fall storm, bringing in some snowfall. Don't go anywhere. Your Weather Watch continues. I'm Emily Vukovic. It's Tuesday. It is October the 4th, and these are the developing stories we're following for you. Excellent in the east. We're talking summer-like conditions. Wintry west. We'll see some snow and Matthew mayhem. We'll give you an update on what's happening with Hurricane Matthew right now. Not much happening there right now, but we've got watches and warnings on the way for you. We are going to be seeing the potential for 15 centimeters of snow through Saskatoon. That is hence why we have the special weather statement issued. We do have a snowfall warning areas of north of that, and we have rainfall warnings in place, an additional 60 to 80 millimeters, 100 millimeters in total through some areas. The winds, they are not going to be forgiving. It is going to feel very blustery. It is going to be very cold. We've got winds coming in from the north that have the potential to be gusting, sustained at about 40, gusting up to about 60 to 70 kilometers an hour. So tonight into tomorrow, if you're trying to commute, get anywhere, the roads are going to be icy. They're going to be slick. It's not something unheard of for October the 4th, but not necessarily something that we welcome, correct? All right, we've got 60 to 80 millimeters total through some areas of Manitoba. Some communities have already picked up close to 100 millimeters. And then the snowfall, we are going to be seeing 5 to 15 centimeters through some communities. So do you want to build a snowman in October? You're going to have your chance. All right, thanks so much, Chris. Taking a look at the satellite imagery for the last 12 hours has made landfall through Haiti as a Category 4 storm, bringing in catastrophic wind and rain. Have you ever canceled a trip, or would you ever cancel a trip because of a hurricane? Yes, no, it depends. Well, a lot of people are saying yes, and we actually heard from one person that said, yeah, I just canceled it this week. Jamaica is where I was supposed to be going. So this is something that is very impactful to not only people that live in those communities, for people that are traveling, if you have business interests. We're going to have more updates on Hurricane Matthew coming up, including a really great segment from the science behind the eye wall. Trust me, you can learn a lot. It's coming up in 3 minutes. Well, we kick off your Weather Watch with a video from Plum Point Lighthouse in Jamaica. Water flowing over the barriers. Of course, this is from Hurricane Matthew. What we're seeing, it's still a very strong Category 4 storm. I'm Emily Vukovic. Thanks for joining us. Has already made landfall through the southern peninsula of Haiti, bringing in catastrophic wind and rain. We're watching the track of this system. The winds, it's at about 235 kilometers an hour, and it's moving north at 14 kilometers an hour, so very, very slowly. But as you can see, if you were watching it this time yesterday, you're thinking, well, the model yesterday had it going a little bit further east. Well, models certainly update themselves, and they'll be doing that throughout the day today. So we're going to be continuing to give you an update. But as of right now, the level of concern, obviously very high through Haiti as well as through parts of Cuba. This is expected to make landfall right over the Bahamas and then move potentially in through parts of Florida, track its way up through the Carolinas, and then eventually be making impact throughout Atlantic Canada over the Thanksgiving weekend and into early next week. So like I said, we're going to continue to have updates for you as the models continue to release. Today, however, get out and enjoy the sunshine. We're going to be seeing it. Beautiful day through Moncton, 16 degrees, nice through Charlottetown, even in Newfoundland. Things have really started to clear up for you nicely. Saw some wind, some rain these last couple of days. In through parts of Quebec, nice day. Quebec City, 17 degrees with some sunshine, and it is going to feel more like summer for the next couple of days throughout parts of the lower Great Lakes. 20 through Toronto, 23 in Windsor, even up through Kapuskasing. We're looking at temperatures around 20. Let's contrast that. Take a look at this must-see video. Thanks, Chris. Well, here are the temperatures. 2 in Saskatoon, 2 in Kindersley, 5 through Medicine Hat. You can really just kind of see that line is where we're going to be seeing that rain and where we're going to be seeing that snow. Throughout the day tomorrow, that is where you're going to be seeing that snowfall intensify because of all that Arctic air being filtered in from the north. So Saskatoon, daytime high of 1. Like Chris was mentioning, 5 to 15 centimeters, certainly not out of the question for some of these communities. Now, as we get closer to the weekend, it's still going to be quite miserable, quite slippery. Roads are going to be a bit of a mess. We're going to have winds gusting up to 60 kilometers an hour. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty for the 4th of October, 4th, 5th, and 6th. I mean, it doesn't happen all the time, but we don't like it when it does. Everyone's anticipating the long weekend, and joining me now is meteorologist Dr. Doug Gillum. Look at the temperature contrast. It is cold in the west compared to like summer in the east.
October is famous for those wild swings in temperatures and contrast across the country. Like you said, late summer warmth from southern Ontario to the Maritimes, single-digit highs across the prairies. And we have a significant system along the dividing line between those two air masses, bringing a lot of wind and rain to northern Ontario, and a wet end to the week for the south coast of BC.
But it doesn't look like it's going to be a complete washout,
That's
right?
right, yeah. Periods of unsettled weather, and it gets rather active later next week, but again, not a washout for Thanksgiving. But as we head into the weekend, really keeping a close eye on how the tropics will impact the weather.
There's a couple different scenarios. Now, take us through this first one.
Well, one scenario is that Matthew's a little bit faster in coming up the coast. If that's the case, then as the front crosses southern Ontario, it'll tap into some tropical moisture and bring a period of some soaking rain from southern Ontario into southern Quebec. And this would, if this front captures Matthew, then it takes it on a more westerly track and lifts it right through the Maritimes. Obviously a very impactful system for the Atlantic Canada if this were to happen. But this faster speed means that it is pretty much out of the picture for the Maritimes by Monday, other than the wind. However, other models are slower. This would allow the front to come through southern Ontario pretty much dry, and then Matthew takes a more offshore track. Doesn't impact all of Atlantic Canada, but a lot of wind and rain for Nova Scotia for Thanksgiving if that were to occur. So definitely something we'll be carefully watching in the next few days.
Okay, now looking at the temperatures for Monday, they could certainly be impacted by what happens.
Right, so temperatures will be trending cooler in the east, but as we go to next week, a real nice warm-up by mid to end of next week, above seasonal temperatures will be returning to the prairies.
Amazing. Thanks, Doug.
Sure.